The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Sunday morning. With us every Sunday morning is Steve Cates, otherwise known as Dr. Sky, and he's always on Friday night, midnight, till Saturday morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, and Sunday, midnight, till Sunday morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, Steve Cates, what's the great news going on? What's going on Mars, the moon, the world? You tell us.
Well, good morning, John. Always a pleasure to be here with you on Sundays and your listeners around the world. You know, John, here's a question. Where are all these fireball sightings coming from? And the backstory is this. More fireball sightings, John, have been seen. And here in early 2026, there have been 40 major events between January and March. So what are fireballs? These are what people might call shooting stars, John, that are shooting through the sky. They're not stars at all, but they're chunks of asteroids. And a fireball is defined as something maybe brighter than the planet Venus. And many people in the listening audience, I'm sure, have seen some of these. So back on March the 21st, a 3-foot, 1-ton meteor, or a piece of some asteroid, created a sonic boom and exploded over Houston, Texas. But, John, between this month, as we were talking about, like April now, back in March, there were 2,300 reports of these so-called fireballs in the sky. But the question is, even the astronomers really don't know, why do we have this particular season, say between February and April, called fireball season? So if you're looking in the sky, you may not be seeing airplanes only or, quote, UAPs. These are pieces of asteroids that are coming through. Nobody knows exactly why, John.
Well, I mean, for just a period of time. My God, I mean, I don't think anybody has thought of that before.
Sure. It's an incredible number. And many of these, there was a particular one back, I think, in the 1800s over the Catskill Mountains in New York. There was an even stranger sighting. They saw this procession of these fireballs, like maybe 4 or 5 or 6 of them in a row. But in this particular case, John, they didn't enter the atmosphere to hit the ground. They skipped along the atmosphere and went right back in outer space. So the big question still is, where are these particular objects coming from, and what object, maybe something that broke apart? But every particular new year that we have, as I said before, starting maybe around February through April, what can we tell people? Keep your eyes to the skies, right, John?
Absolutely. Tell us, what else is going on? I mean, there's so many things going on. Where do you want to start?
Well, John, I got one closer to home. We've all heard of this El Niño, a change in the weather patterns, as the opposite of La Niña. So many meteorologists around the world are saying, how about this? Get set for a super El Niño this summer, or maybe even late 2026. What are they talking about? The meteorologists are saying there's a 61% chance of a super El Niño between May and July, and maybe out to the end of the year. This is when ocean temperatures, John, go 2 degrees centigrade or more. But the specific forecast calls in the southern USA to be cooler and wetter, the northern part of the USA and North America warmer and actually drier. But if there is a benefit from this, this is incredible for people who live along coastal areas like the Atlantic Ocean. A super El Niño, John, according to the meteorologists, decreases the Atlantic hurricane season. So there's pluses and minuses on this, and we all know this, and I say it many times, and I know you and I agree. All weather comes from the sun, and the earth has this incredible healing power, as we say, not that we should pollute. But, John, every bit of this weather that we talk about, it's localized, and definitely a change is coming.
Well, the planet Earth is like a living being. I
Yes.
look at it that way, because
Absolutely.
it makes adjustments as needed, whether it's hurricanes, whether it's typhoons, or whether whatever El Nino.
Exactly.
And people, I think, are starting to realize it now.
You're right. And this is interesting, John. As I say, all weather is localized, too. Some say politics is all local, but in the weather world, we find out that there's so many micro partitions of weather. And it's very interesting. We never had this technology before. And going back briefly to the story about those asteroids and the numbers, here's one theory I forgot to mention, is that due to all the great technology we have, people have cell phones, people have these door cameras. We never had that, so we're seeing maybe more. And the uptick is they're able to capture all this. But we have something interesting, John. We always have the mystery of the week. And here's something so bizarre, but it has to be talked about. Theoretically, there's something called gray goo. Now, I didn't make this stuff up. What is gray goo? It's a hypothetical molecular nanotechnology which is self-replicating. Now, if this is true, and there was one person who developed this, his name was Eric Drexler. He was a nanotech pioneer. These tiny nanotechnology things, people say they can go into your bloodstream and move out, plaque and cholesterol. Well, that's a good sign. But some worry about something called ecophagy. What the heck is ecophagy? That's the consumption of the environment by these biomechanical type devices called nanotech. So what would happen in the most bizarre way, and hopefully it never happens, is that if the nanotech, which replicates, John, like 1, 100, 100,000, a million, a billion, what's its purpose? Well, it eats everything that's biologic. So not to scare people on Sunday, we have to pay great attention to what these concepts are, even though that sounds more like Star Trek science fiction, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but there's so many things that we're learning, new things every day. Anything unusual with the astronauts? They've been giving a lot of press conferences lately. What new things did you find out about this moon mission and what's going on now?
Well, John, the mystery is still, where did the moon come from? And what they found out, this is from observation. The 4 astronauts taking turns looking out those windows, recording with cameras. They noticed a distinct difference, which we knew before, but now they're still trying to go and say, what's the source of this? The far side of the moon, John, has a different geology than the front side. And to make it simple, the front side has these big lava basins, which we call seas or mare, going back from Galileo's time. But on the far side, John, it's amazing. This is a different geology, and still we don't understand what's inside the moon itself. But they also observed, right from their window, meteor or asteroidal impacts. Remember, we started the show today talking about these fireballs. They noticed and actually saw flashes on the surface of the moon, maybe 4 or 5 during that passage, which means one thing. If we're going to go and habitate the moon, we need to protect, because even tiny little particles of these asteroids, John, if you're walking around on the moon, could be dangerous for astronauts as it penetrates their suits or even their habitation. But we're learning more about how to live in space. But on a comedic side, John, the big problem they had on this particular mission, this goes to the comedy side for some, is their toilet didn't work properly. And Christina Cook, the female astronaut, she was in charge of trying to fix it. They had a stuck fan for the urine collection. She fixed it. Then it had another problem. And then when they re-entered the atmosphere, John, they had no trouble communicating between the Earth and the moon. But when they landed in the ocean, they got their little radios and phones out. They couldn't communicate for a short time, the short distance between the recovery ship and the spacecraft. Amazing stuff, don't you think?
I do think. Thank you, Steve Cates, and let's keep talking about those mysteries. And I always listen to you 2 hours on Friday night, midnight, and Saturday night, midnight. And thank you, for what you do.
Well, thank you, John, and God bless America, as we say, and hope everybody has a wonderful, beautiful Sunday.
Putting off replacing your window treatments because you think it's complicated? At Blinds.com, we spent 30 years proving it doesn't have to be. And right now, our Spring Black Friday sale makes it easier than ever. Whether you want to DIY it or have a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we've got you. Free samples, real design experts, and zero pressure. Just help when you need it. Shop up to 45% off site-wide. Huge savings on doorbusters. Plus a free professional measure now during the Blinds.com Spring Black Friday sale. Rules and restrictions apply.